Okay, so imagine a company that's been deeply rooted in agriculture for decades, and then, almost overnight, it decides to pivot. Not just a small change, but a huge leap to tackle some of the biggest challenges in life sciences. That's the incredible story we're getting into today. A journey from the farm fields of today to the advanced labs of tomorrow. It's a story all about necessity and, you guessed it, innovation. At the very heart of this massive shift is a question that really all of us are facing. How in the world do we feed a growing population without wrecking the planet in the process? And look, this isn't just some far-off abstract problem. It's the real-world challenge that's forcing companies like PI Industries to completely rethink who they are and what they do. And the pressure is on. Seriously. By 2050, we're going to be sharing this planet with nearly 10 billion people. Just think about that number for a second. It's going to stretch our food systems, our resources, our entire environment to the absolute limit. This isn't some problem for our grandkids. It's happening right now, and it demands a total reinvention of how business gets done. So what does this challenge actually look like on the ground? Well, it's not as simple as just planting more crops. It's about trying to navigate this incredibly complex web of global pressures that are pushing our current systems right to the edge. I mean, we're facing a perfect storm here. You've got climate change just throwing our growing seasons into total chaos. Pests and diseases, they're on the move, popping up in new places, threatening our food supply. And as if that wasn't enough, all of us are demanding, and rightly so, more sustainable, more eco-friendly farming. The takeaway here is crystal clear. The old way of doing things just isn't going to cut it anymore. So when you're up against a challenge that big, what do? Well, for PI Industries, the answer wasn't just a tiny course correction. Nope, it was a complete transformation. They're making a strategic pivot, moving away from their traditional agrochemical roots to become a much broader, more integrated life sciences company. And hey, you don't have to take my word for it. Let's hear directly from Joint Managing Director Rajneesh Sarna. He basically says that this whole move into life sciences is driven by the need to innovate and branch out because of what the market and the planet is demanding. In other words, it's all about adapting to not just survive, but to lead the way. This slide really lays it all out, doesn't it? The old model was pretty straightforward. Make chemicals, protect crops. But the new vision, it's so much bigger. It's holistic. It's about bringing together things like ag science, pharmaceuticals, and even biologicals to create a single, powerful approach for a healthier planet. It's a total game changer. All right, so a big vision is great, but talk is cheap, right? How does that high-level strategy actually translate into real-world action? Well, that's exactly what we're diving into next. We're going from the boardroom to the field to see how they're putting sustainability into practice. Let's start with some hard numbers. You know, agriculture can be a really water-intensive business. Well, since 2020, PI Industries has managed to slash its water consumption per metric ton of production by 26%. That is a massive efficiency gain and a really powerful statement about their commitment to saving resources. And their foot is still firmly on the gas when it comes to innovation. Just in the 2024-25 fiscal year, the company filed 44 brand new patents. This shows they're not just trying to keep up. They are actively inventing the next wave of solutions that we're all going to need. And this isn't just happening inside their own factories. Through their social responsibility programs, they've helped improve and restore over 54,000 acres of farmland. That's not just a number on a page. That's a direct investment in the health of our ecosystems and, of course, the livelihoods of farmers. And check this out. They're not just trying to offset their impact. They're fundamentally redesigning how they operate. By building things like solar power right into their facilities, they're creating a manufacturing footprint that's genuinely low impact for the long haul. You know, a massive corporate shift like this is about so much more than just new tech and business strategies. At its heart, it's about people. So now, let's switch gears and focus on the human core of this story, how PI Industries is investing in its own employees and in the communities they call home. To pull this off, you've got to have the right team. PI Industries is investing a ton in its people. We're talking more than 84,000 hours of employee training in a single year. But here's the really telling part. A whopping 78% of that time was all about upgrading skills. They're literally retooling their workforce for the future of life sciences. But this investment in people doesn't just stop at the company gates. They're making a huge difference out in the community. Through programs like Asmita, they're helping thousands of women gain financial independence. And their Swasthya Seva program is bringing critical health care to over 141,000 people. This is about building a stronger, healthier society from the ground up.
Okay, I know what you might be thinking. It's easy to be a little cynical and wonder if all this purpose talk is just good PR. But what if a company's commitment to the planet and its people was actually the secret sauce to its financial success? In this last section, let's look at the numbers and see how purpose and profit can actually go hand in hand.
So let's quickly break down what these numbers really mean. That strong earnings per share, that tells us the company is making good money. A debt-to-equity ratio of basically zero, that means they're growing without taking on a bunch of risky debt. And that healthy profit margin shows their core business is running like a well-oiled machine. Altogether, this paints a picture of a company that isn't just surviving this huge transformation, it's absolutely thriving because of it. And if you need a picture of what that success looks like, here it is. This chart tells a really powerful story. In just a few years, the cash they're generating from their operations has more than doubled. This isn't just a small step up. This is explosive growth, and it proves that their new sustainable vision is also incredibly profitable. So when you look at the whole story of PI Industries, it's more than just a successful business pivot. It's really a potential roadmap for a whole new way of doing business, one where the health of the planet and the success of its people aren't competing against each other, but a part of the same goal. It leaves us with a really big question to chew on. What if more companies followed this blueprint? Could corporate reinvention actually be the key to a healthier world for all of us?